Hey everyone, welcome back. Alright, so the video on my channel that got the ball rolling was basically the second video I ever uploaded on this channel. And the title of that video was Why Jake Paul Will Beat KSI. And now it's done very well for views, but I went back and looked at it today and it's just not good enough for what I can do now. The script I wrote didn't really make much sense. The editing was pretty poor, and I just don't think I gave a proper explanation as I didn't really know what I was doing in a way. So what I've decided to do today is remake that video of why Jake Paul will beat KSI. So the best way to start this video is to talk about the experience that both of these fighters have. So first of all, let's start with JJ. Now, JJ had his first ever fight with Joe Weller, and he won that fight. The reason why JJ won that fight is because Joe Weller, he basically froze on the night, and Joe didn't do anything. He threw basically no punches and just went forward with his guard up. I don't know, Joe just froze and he put in a terrible performance, and that is the honest reason why JJ won. And then a couple months later, JJ then fought Logan Paul for the first time. Now this is pretty much the event that made the YouTube boxing as big as it is now. It was a draw between the two. If you're asking me, JJ and Logan, when Logan was fresh, he was beating JJ easily. The moment Logan started to fade, JJ just started to rack up the points and he started winning. But despite that, it was a draw and it was kind of equal. It was pretty equal fight, if I'm honest. JJ then fought Logan again in America, and JJ, of course, won that fight. So basically, so far, JJ has one professional win, one draw amateur, and one win amateur. So not a bad record. Now, Jake Paul's experience. Now, Jake had his first fight with Deji, which is JJ's brother, on the KSI, and Logan won the first fight. And so far, Deji was the toughest opponent, which is pretty funny. Jake actually won that fight. I think he got to round 5 and then the ref had to call it off because Deji was done. That was the first win for Jake. So a little bit later, Jake then fought Anderson Gibb, which Gibb was supposed to be the best opponent. He was supposed to be the toughest opponent, and a lot of people thought Gibb was going to win because he's quite a ruthless little fighter, and Jake dropped him on the first round. That was Jake's professional debut, and he got a first round knockout. It was a knockout, but it was only because of the 3 knockdown rule. And then recently we've all seen Jake versus Nate Robinson, where Jake completely flattened Nate. So far the experiences are Jake has had 2 professional fights and won both of them by knockout, and he's had 1 amateur and he's got 1 win. So his record so far is far superior to JJ's. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is the 2 fighters' styles. So let's start with JJ. So JJ, he's a brawler. He moves forward and he swings a bit like a madman. It's kind of like Deontay Wilder in a way. He swings with maximum power, just praying that one of them shots lands. And if they do, they will do a significant amount of damage. They do have a lot of power behind them. However, the only problem with that kind of fighting style is that when you're throwing wild like that, you're typically leaving yourself open, which means you're more vulnerable for getting counterattacked. In order to counter someone that's fighting like a brawler, someone that's just swinging their arms, you need to slip and duck punches and then counter with something like with a right hook or a left hook to the body, work the body and then hit the head. There's no denying it, JJ has got a massive heart. He will not stop attacking his opponent until JJ himself is just basically done. He will never stop going. And he's the kind of boxer to put the pressure on his opponent rather than the opponent come to him. And in a nutshell, I guess you could say that he's kind of this aggressive, uncoordinated fighter which just swings wildly. I think that's fair enough to say. Jake, he is more of a technical boxer. He is the complete opposite to JJ. So Jake will tend to throw combinations rather than throwing one large punch for the knockout. Jake's style is to pick off his opponent, learn their weaknesses. Jake's the kind of fighter to always constantly throw a flurry of punches and then take a step back, reassess, and then when he can, he'll land a big hit. Jake has shown the ability to be able to keep his distance from his opponent by using his jabs, and then he's also shown us that he can keep the pressure by moving forward, and when he's on the inside, he can throw short punches punches when he's on the inside. He has the ability to do both. And I'm not denying JJ is the same, but JJ is more of the person to just charge forward and hit kind of close up. The only problem with Jake's fighting style is it's more predictable than what JJ's is. Jake is more of a textbook fighter, so if you can kind of predict what combinations he's going to throw, if you know exactly what counter attack to throw, chances are it's going to be an easy fight for you. So JJ's more of a fighter to just throw hands with a bunch of power. Jake is more of the kind of person to pick his shots, take his time, and then land a big bomb to knock his opponent out, which means that Jake he doesn't put a lot of pressure on his opponent. He rather pick his opponent apart. Both fighting styles, they have their advantages and disadvantages. They're both the same height and weight pretty much, and either way, it's going to be a very interesting fight. Okay, so the way I see this fight going is this. JJ will come in very confident, like he did with Logan. Jake will be exactly the same. They'll both be really arrogant. They both come in with big egos. And because they both despise each other, either way, it's going to be kind of a messy fight. And what I'm predicting is JJ's going to come in looking for the knockout rather than to wear Jake down. And Jake, he will do the complete opposite. I think he would rather wear JJ down over time, because I personally think that Jake's conditioning will be better than JJ's, because if you look back at Logan and KSI 2, JJ was quite wobbly after the 4th round after one big hit, and I think if Jake lands one hit on JJ, his conditioning may be in trouble. I think his game plan is to basically do what he did with Logan, charge forward, throw punches, and keep the pressure constantly on Jake. JJ will start connecting a lot in the first round. Jake will take his time and he will learn JJ's flaws. And I think JJ may win on the first round on points. Okay, round 2. Okay, so in round 2, I think Jake will start to pick up the ante a little bit. I think he would have maybe developed a game plan at this point, and he kind of knows what combos to throw now. And personally, I think JJ, he will lose this fight, mainly because he's got a lack of boxing ability compared to Jake. I don't think JJ will have enough time to prepare or the skill to learn how to defend himself against a bunch of combination of punches. I think JJ will really start to get drained when Jake starts to hit him with body shots. And overall, I just think that KSI will just get more and more angry and he'll charge forward. And I think eventually Jake will just keep pushing him back, hitting him, wearing him down even more and more, making JJ even more angry. And I think by the end of the second round, Jake would have won round 2 on points. So far, it will be JJ's won round 1 on points, and Jake has won round 2 on points. Round 3, I think Jake will still be composed. However, I think JJ will be kind of really angry and he'll try to up the ante more than ever. And I think his typical style of just going in, charging forward, throwing his hands everywhere, I think that'll be the only solution. And I think by JJ running in forward with aggression, I think it'll just be a repeat of Nate Robinson, where he'll just eventually just get knocked out. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Jake has proven with the Nate Robinson fight that he can easily deal with someone that's charging forward, throwing a flurry of punches. I think the amount of experience that Jake has had over JJ at this point means that there is no chance of JJ catching up to the boxing level as Jake. I just don't see how it's possible. I honestly think that JJ has left it too long, and I think he's just too far behind Jake. I mean, even KSI's trainer, Vidal Riley, has said that it's very difficult for JJ to learn boxing techniques. Vidal even said that it takes ages to train KSI because he doesn't learn quickly. If you watch Logan versus JJ on the first fight, and then if you go back and watch the second fight, neither of them, they're not really much different. Like, they're both still not great. However, with Jake, he's had constant progression from his first fight to his second fight to his third fight. You can see a clear increase in boxing ability. It'd be no different for when he fights JJ. He'll be better than his last. And also the problem with JJ is he wants to train with Vidal again. And it's like, look, you barely beat Logan on your second fight. There's no denying it, he barely beat Logan. So he just about scraped that victory. But then he wants to use the same coach, which means he's not going to learn anything new really. He's just going to basically improve on what he already knows, kind of sharpen up. But Jake has that edge because he's been training with multiple different people, learning every single different aspect of boxing from different people. Not to mention as well, Vidal, he's a good boxer, but he's not a world champion. He's even younger than JJ. Vidal's like 23. Jake has been learning from boxing legends, coaches that have coached for longer time than Vidal's even been alive. So no matter what, Jake, he has the advantage in every single way. Like, just if you look at it from an outside perspective, every single thing is saying that Jake will win. And it's that simple. If you're a fan of JJ, it's very difficult for you to look at the bigger picture. You'll just think that, yes, JJ's my favourite YouTuber, he's undefeatable, blah blah blah. And everything that I've seen is showing that Jake will beat JJ. End of story. If you agree with me, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you don't agree with me, just let me know in the comments down below, and let's not get angry about this. I'm just giving you my opinion. And also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. But anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.